Good afternoon and a warm welcome to, I guess, what you could describe as the start of week 2 of the Australian Open, especially having had a Sunday start this time last week. We have plenty to look forward to on what should be a fantastic Sunday, hot on the heels of a Super Saturday that saw 90,000 fans come through the gates yesterday. Testament to the success once again of the Australian Open. We have both US Open champions in action today in the day session as well. Coco Gauff on Rod Laver Arena will get us underway, followed by Novak Djokovic. Nick Lester alongside Chanda Rubin here. Andrey Petkovic will be courtside for us as well. Afternoon, Chanda.
Happy to be here. Looking forward to this Super Sunday. Can we call it that?
I think we can.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we can. It's another.
Weather's a little funky today to start.
Absolutely. It's been very much the case, isn't it, over the course of the tournament so far, that we've had really mild weather in truth. There hasn't really experienced any of the heat that we can so often get down here. But the players will be happy about that, one would imagine.
Of course, we have the roofs, so that has helped with the rain.
Yeah, and about half an hour ago, with the players warming up, they actually made the decision to shut the roof because there was potentially, as Chanda says, some rain in the air. But
the show goes on here on Rod Laver Arena, and we are happy that it is the case, as we see smiles from Magdalena Frech. What a moment for her.
Yeah, and what's gone on in the women's draw this year, Chanda? So many surprises, so many new names going deeper into week 2. Just a coincidence, or greater depth? Where's the sort of balance there?
Yeah, I think maybe a bit of both. You know, I think certainly there's more depth in the women's game. When we looked at some of the matchups, the first rounds of this draw, we saw some potential landmines for players. So I think that's part of it. But I also think that, you know, first tournament, first major of the year, it's kind of a big equalizer. I mean, everybody's starting fresh, you know, feeling like they've got a little more belief, especially if they had some matches under their belt to start the season. And it is danger time for any player, but especially the top players. And the ones who have survived have done so pretty spectacularly.
Yeah, you look at the likes of Linda Noskova, of course, who created such a big upset yesterday. Jasmine Paolini, Anna Kalinskaya, Oceane Dodin, Maria Timofeya. There's a lot of players there that haven't necessarily had the experience or had the wins deep into a major that they're having right now. So we have some big opportunities for some players to really eat into their ranking, and a very similar story for the lady we'll be watching today, Magdalena Frech, will of course be a top 50 player probably after this.
Yeah, it's a big breakthrough for her. This is her best result at a major. And, you know, she's been out there grinding for a number of years, playing at the lower levels primarily, ITF events, qualifying, trying to earn her spot, you know, into draws. And I think that's part of where the belief can come from as well. When you play so many matches, you start winning more, regardless of the level. It gives you a little added confidence.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Had never beaten a top 50 player on a hard court until this week. And when you consider where she is in her career, in her mid-20s, it really has been a case of persistence and patience. She was talking about how hard she worked in the pre-season, perhaps never put the hard yards in quite as she has done this time around, and she is reaping the rewards from that already at the start of a new season. Big challenge today, though, perhaps the biggest right now. Coco Gauff, who, as we know, took her career to new heights in New York last summer, and in fact has only lost to top 5 opposition since August last year. So this is a significant test.
Women's singles 4th round to action. Please welcome to Rod Laver Arena from Poland, Magdalena Frech. And their opponent this afternoon, please welcome from the USA,
He has won 32 of her last 36 matches. That is some remarkable consistency, Chandler.
It's been incredible, and it just seemed to happen all of a sudden for Coco Gauff, especially when you consider her Wimbledon loss, that first round loss to Sofia Kenin, who played a terrific match, but it was devastating for Gauff. It was one of the low points for her. She talked about it, how she mentally had to reset, relied on her church family and her team, the support system she has around her, her family as well. And it's been remarkable, the turnaround, and she's now reached new heights.
Yeah, it proved to be somewhat of a seminal moment, didn't it, really, in the course of her young career so far? This is her last major as a teenager.
On and off. It's very light so far. Coco, this is Kyla. She'll do the coin toss for you today. After the toss, some photos, please, the three of you over to that side, okay? For the match usual conditions, for your towel, the box is all around the back of the court. You can have the one with the blue sticker, and you can have the red, please. Any questions before we start? Any questions? No? Who is going to choose? Coco, we have AO or Yvonne? AO. Yvonne it is. Serve. You serve? Yeah. Okay, just some photos over to that side, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well done. Okay, just go over there and out. Thank you very much.
You can see the roof is kind of half closed. Weather doesn't really know what it wants to do so far today. The event taking precautions to try and get it closed, but obviously this being an outdoor event, first and foremost, if we can play outdoors, we will be. So yet to win a career title. There's the poll, but into the last 16 of a major for the very first time. The one thing it has been, though, Chandler, is physical, because if you look at the time spent on court, it's over 8 hours, so she's had to work hard for her wins.
Yeah, it's been some tight sets. She's had a couple of three-setters, Frech has, and she has had to grind to get to this stage, but it has been well worth it. Of course, this 3 rounds that she had to play, terrific wins, and it all comes down to this opportunity, her first time into a major round of 16.
Yeah, you remember the first time you played on a big court, Chandler, and how you felt on one of the biggest stages?
I do. It was actually the US Open, I believe, my first round of 16, so that was a moment. And then I remember my first time playing on center court at Philippe Chatrier at Roland Garros.
Different sort of nerves?
Very different. I was a little more established. I was a little older playing on center court at Chatrier, but against a top player like this, it was Yana Novotna who was playing. She was top 5. Big moment.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a big challenge today, because we know the form that Coco Gauff is in. It hasn't really been tested. The opening set against Caroline Dollarhide was a tight one, but all in, she has looked very solid so far. A little bit of discussion in the Gauff game on the serve and the things they've done in the off-season. Of course, the highlight being going to see Andrey Rublev. I made a lot of headlines, which again speaks to me that she's just always looking to improve, Chandler. She's not happy staying where she is. That's
an important aspect for the great champions of this game. You have to look to get better, because if you don't, you're actually going to regress. Everybody's pushing, especially when there's a target on your back. And Coco Gauff, she's starting to experience that in full effect. She is a major champion. She's a player to beat. It is a resume maker for players who can get over the finish line against her. And so it's been impressive just seeing how she's grown into this role, Coco Gauff, how she has embraced it, especially with all of the eyes that have been on her since she was a young teenager. And she is just maturing right before our eyes.
Yeah, talking of maturation, she opened her press conference a couple of days ago as well with a very beautiful words on the British journalist Mike Dixon, who passed away here a few days ago. Very touching it was in many ways, and speaks again to
1 minute
understanding of there are a lot more things out there than just tennis. There's a good shot of the roof that is half closed, poised, I guess might be the best way to describe it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match will be the best of 3 tiebreak sets. Magdalena Frech won the toss and elected to
Let's
serve.
bring Andrea Petkovic into the conversation. Afternoon, Petko. What are we looking for tactically out here? What does Frech have in her game potentially that could cause Gauff some problems?
Well, hello there. Hi, Nick. Hi, Chanda. It's so nice to be alongside you. I'm here. It's a little bit chilly. There are a few drops of rain coming down, so we will see how the weather progresses. I'm very excited for this match. Magda is a very dangerous player. She is a counterpuncher, and she can do a lot with other players' paces, so we'll see how she will react to Coco Gauff's backhand. I do think Coco's heavy forehand will cause some problems for Magda, so that's a thing to keep an eye out. And the serve. The serve is a huge difference. Coco, a big weapon for her. Magda, we can see it. She serves solid, but not very fast, so that's something to pay attention to today.
We will keep a close eye on it.
That's so interesting. Petko talking about the forehand of Gauff. We were comparing their average numbers on the forehand side, and in terms of speed, Frech is right there with Gauff. They're pretty even. The backhand, it's a different story. That's going to be the big weapon that perhaps Gauff uses to get in better position for her forehand. An interesting chess match. This one, slightly contrasting styles.
Yeah, Coco Gauff aiming to reach the last 8 here at the Australian Open for the very first time in her career. She starts a warm favourite. Didn't really have to work particularly hard in the previous round against Alicia Parks, fellow American, who just struggled to keep the ball in court enough. There were too many errors that afternoon.
Yeah, this will be a very different match for Gauff, where she will hit a lot of balls. She'll be able to get into rallies against an opponent who will try to extend the points long enough, maybe get some misses, get some opportunities.
Thirty, 15. Ball.
You can see already Frech just looking for opportunities to try to outmaneuver Gauff. Gauff, one of the quickest players on tour, if not the quickest. That's not going to be easy to do, but she's also, Frech, got to look for openings on her forehand side.
Let for service.
brilliant point. Again, you saw the shape on the forehand early. Doing a lot of work.
40.
Promising start from the US Open champion. Full of purpose.
First game.
Oftentimes, these are the early opportunities, especially for a top player, to come out if they're ready to play, playing aggressively. You know, they've got that bit of an R as well. And Gauff, she is using it beautifully here.
What changed with the forehand over the summer, Chandler? Because obviously there was a lot of attention on it. What was she doing that made it a more consistent shot over the course of that American summer and beyond?
I think for me, it's been her mindset with regard to the forehand. You've got to go after that shot aggressively, the more extreme your grip is. And it's kind of counterintuitive. You often see Gauff at times try to push it or guide it. That's the opposite approach that you want to have. And it's not easy to get under the ball with the grips that she has, but that, I think, has been the change. She's gotten her body into better position, leaning into the shots more instead of open stance falling away. So it's been some small changes, but it has made a big difference. And we also see Gauff now trying to run around and hit forehands inside out. She did that at the US Open against Sabalenka.
30 love.
Showing you the different approach that she's taking to that shot. And then, of course, the serve. She has started adding more MPHs or KPHs, depending on where you are in the world. She's hitting it bigger.
Yeah, 7K, in fact, she has up at the moment here in Melbourne compared to the US Open. So getting more speed out of that first delivery, having worked in the off-season on it. Oh, this is a lightning start.
I also think this will be a match where Gauff can hit out on the forehand even more, continue to build confidence on that side. Frech hits a nice ball cross court, but it sits up just enough. It gives Gauff just enough time to feel a little bit more comfortable. And then the backhand, that is just the money shot. Question for Frech is going to be, can she extend enough of these rallies and get Gauff into challenging enough positions to maybe create some misses, give herself an opening.
Ball. Game, Gauff.
He's like to take the second serve on.
Gauff plays right,
Didn't get her feet arranged there. Petco, does Gauff, to me, athletically, physically, just looks a little more developed than she was perhaps last year. Are you seeing that as well?
100%. I said it right away when I walked out. I saw her first 2 matches on the screen, on TV. Now sitting courtside, she's definitely looks much stronger than she's looked at the US Open. She looks incredible, so fit, so defined. And she's been doing a tremendous job in using those angles beautifully. You can see that Magda likes to hold the line right in front of that Melbourne sign, and Coco has been doing a good job in dragging her in.
For service. Third up.
Do you feel as though if she's going to hit that serve, it's got to go in with a bit more pace? That was just right in the slot.
.40-15.
It's more like it. Without doubt, one of the biggest days in her career so far. She'll be relieved to be up and running here.
Yeah, that was crucial for Frech to at least get on the board. Feel like she can settle in a little bit more. Difficult stages of a match for a more inexperienced player, you know, in terms of the level that they've played at. Frech, of course, a few years older than Gauff, more than a few, but Gauff has been at this level for so much longer. And so you want to try to get your legs into the match as quickly as possible, try to start building a little belief, which is going to be difficult enough with what we've seen so far from Coco Gauff. This is part of the fun of being here at the Australian Open, around the grounds. Yeah. Get selfies with the walking tennis balls.
Absolutely. The last pole standing in the women's draw. Who would have thought that? After Iga Swiatek's early defeat last night to a very impressive Linda Noskova. Let's not take anything away from the 19-year-old. Seems as though she's got a big future ahead of her. Here's the extra pace coming from on the serve. What has she changed, Chanda, that you've seen with this delivery, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more of her going up and out after the ball. Doesn't look to be much technically, although there could be some minute changes there, but overall it's just getting a little more upward trajectory.
There really isn't much that gets over Coco Gauff's head. What an athlete.
And she's already, as you mentioned, extremely athletic. She can make adjustments that most players would struggle to make. Go from defense to offense, covers a lot of ground. And on the serve, it's already been a big weapon in her game. It's just getting it consistently, hitting her targets, and going after it the way she seems to be doing now.
Yeah, I actually put the two serves side by side this morning at the US Open, and the one thing I noticed is that the start's a little higher. US Open, she was starting lower. Here, she's starting a little bit higher and kind of getting into the throw, from my eyes, a little bit quicker. That's what it seemed.
Well, and I also think it's very small, but I think she's making it more continuous as well, and maybe that start has something to do with it, but the motion itself.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, to be able to rely on it and create those bigger speeds, but also to rely on it more under pressure.
And a feature of her play over the first 3 rounds, this second serve return. She likes to get on top.
Yeah, there used to be just a little bit more of a pause.
Yeah.
She got the arm up.
Yeah. It's a slightly faster action, isn't it? In terms of just how quickly it gets up to the ball. You agree, Petko? Are you seeing that down there? What were your observations on the serve?
Yeah, the serve looks really good. The only thing from courtside you can see, sometimes her toss is a bit in front. That's when she hits the net. But other than that, it's perfect. What I just want to add from courtside, it's so fun to watch Coco Gauff move in and out, and how smart she contests these rallies. She knows exactly when to accelerate, when to take a bit out. And she's had that forever. And that's such a great instinct for the sport of tennis. It's mesmerizing to watch this close up. And this was a perfect point that just underlined it. She got enough shape on the ones when she was under pressure. She got into the court when she had the chance. It's just really from the sidelines, if you get the chance, is highly recommended. 10-10 recommended.
Well, if you're Frech, you go into a match like this, and you know you've got the book on a player like Gauff. Try to play her forehand if you can. Maybe go to the backhand just to open up that forehand court, but beat on the forehand. Well, so far, Frech is not getting a lot from the Gauff forehand. Not getting a lot of openings, not getting a lot of misses, and that shot is actually starting to drive her back a bit. It still may be the side to go to, but Gauff is trying to establish here early that that's not going to be the way to beat me.
Sure. Just giving Frech so little time to settle on the ball at the moment.
14.
It's made a lot of first serves so far, but without getting too many rewards from them. 13 of 16 she's made, but winning well below 50%. Just rushed it, had ample time, somewhat made a mess of it, and it's Coco Gauff. It's already a double break to the good here.
Gauff out to a quick start. Of course, there's still a lot more of this match to be played, and you see Frech just trying to figure it out, trying to figure out openings, tendencies, and it's not easy in real time against a player of this caliber coming out first time in this type of situation. So you expect her to at least figure out some ways to work her way into this match, but you just see early how focused Gauff is on being more aggressive in all these different areas of the court, and I think that's an area for her game to grow. Gauff still improving as we see sight lines above Rod Laver Arena. Downtown district in the distance.
Another overcast afternoon in Melbourne, but it's been a bright start by a lady that will be up in the world rankings again, regardless of what happens here on in. And there is one of the all-time greats. The man, of course, whose stadium is named in his honor. Flew in yesterday, I'm told, with Rod. And it's just been shown on the big screen.
Love.
Yeah, she'll be up to number 3 in the world. Well, Coco, because Jess Pegula's dropping after her early defeat.
All.
And just something, Magda has picked up the pace a bit. I think she's trying, because she feels like her regular game is not quite enough to push Coco back, so she's trying to hit the ball just a bit harder.
An apology, but it was a very genius shot. Such a potent spread again.
40-15.
Look at the shots taken inside the baseline, Chanda. Enormous difference.
And that's normally what we see Frech trying to do a little bit more of to add weight to her game, but Gauff right now is not allowing it. It's been Gauff taking the initiative.
Cain Gauff. Gauff leads by 5 games to 1.
You can hear the encouragement for Gauff from her team. Very pleased, and rightfully so, pleased with what they are seeing so far.
It's been some strike rate at the majors, because this is her 18th major already, which is quite extraordinary considering she's only 19. And she's aiming for a 6th quarter final in 18 majors. So you consider her tender years. It's incredible.
Love 15.
Again, Frech trying to get a little more pace, a little more depth behind her shots. It's causing a few more misses off her racket, and that is concerning here. Where can she go to? Challenge for Frech is she's got to go to the backhand some to try to open up some more space to the forehand side, but she's put herself at risk going to the Gauff backhand. Fortunate to get that last miss.
No respite, is there?
15, Petty.
That was that transition that Pekka, you were talking about, how quickly she went from a defensive position to an offensive one there. So sharp.
And even off of a terrific serve, Frech still not able to create much. Gauff turning the tables, cutting the return off somehow, and then just shifting slightly defensive to offensive.
The cut above right now is 19-year-old Coco Gauff dominating the opening match on Rod Laver. She leads 6-1. It's probably fair to say that's the best set she's played in Melbourne this week. Of the ones that I've certainly seen, it's fairly flawless.
You take a look at the numbers, and so much of it is about the aggressive play from Coco Gauff. See Gauff just having her way in just about every single category, except the first serve percentage, but that hasn't hurt her because she's been so effective behind her serve. Looking at some of the highlights from the first set, and it was Gauff constantly on the front foot. And Frech tried to open up the court, tried to massage the ball, but the athleticism of Gauff constantly just finding the answers. And even the forehand, she's starting to hit out on that shot more, leaning into it. And perhaps this can play her even in a higher level of confidence. But so far for Gauff, she is focused, fit, and she is giving no quarter.
Time.
It's been savage for the seats here in Melbourne on the women's side. There's only 3 seats left in the bottom half. Kuchikova, Sabalenka and Gauff.
Second set.
If the American does prevail here, she'll take on either Kostyuk or Timofeeva in this section in the last 8.
Love.
But it just looks so comfortable for Gauff right now, even on serve. It just looks like she has her pick of spots. She's comfortably hitting different areas of the service box. And I don't think we've reached full speed yet, has she?
Out. Total love.
We're getting there. She's getting a little quicker and quicker. Her fastest serve here, I think, has been 194.
Yeah.
It's not her fastest, though,
No,
for the
199,
tournament
I
yet.
think, isn't it, Chanda?
She's still got a couple miles per hour more that she can put on the ball, and that is the fastest serve of the tournament that she's hit at 199.
Oh.
Even half an hour, in fact, just on it.
No. 40-15.
Started a year down in Auckland, as she likes to do. Beautiful event down there. Giving away the winner once again. Second time she's won that tournament. It's a good run. Gauff's volley perhaps wasn't quite as she wanted it, but take nothing away from the pole.
And Frech just still fighting, trying to find some kind of spark, and especially here to start this second set. This would be a moment, these first couple of games, to try to create a bit of a turnaround.
Game go.
Gauff not allowing it.
First game, second set.
Clean hold of serve to start the second set. And you sometimes forget, last season it started for Gauff, the titles started in Auckland. She had such an incredible run in August going into the US Open, winning 3 big titles. But Auckland was sort of a sign.
Yep.
Difficult conditions, she had to make adjustments. There was rain, they went indoors at one point. And at the end of the week, she was the one standing with the title.
Yeah, there's the average ground stroke speeds, and you can see the substantial difference on both. And of course, you couple that with how early she's taking it, it's double trouble in many ways. There's the forehand heaviness to go with it. Everything's in her favor so far. Pekka, what can Frech do here? It's obviously, we talked so much about how well Gauff's playing, but what can she do to try and counter some of this pressure?
Ball.
Well, Nick, she's finding herself in a really, really difficult position. When she goes for more than she usually does, she plays against her nature and risks more unforced errors that she's not used from herself and gets frustrated. If she continues to play her game, she just has no chance today because Coco Gauff is playing so well and so patient. And this is the perfect example. She tried again to find more depth, find more pace, and then the unforced errors creep in. She either has to hope that Coco's level drops dramatically, or that she finds that pace and depth that she needs to push Coco back today.
It's a nice point there from Frech. But that's one of the things that's been most noticeable since the start of this match, how patient Gauff has been. Just looks calm, her body in control. Not a lot of stress that you can see on her face. This would be a tremendous effort from Frech. Hold serve, stay on serve.
Game, Frech. 1 game.
I have to say, I love the journey that she's been on her career, because if you look at kind of her very first year on tour, 2016, she ended that year 300. A year later, she was 172. A year later, 150. A year later, 200. A year later, 156. That's 5, 6 years without breaking the top 100. Even 2022, she ended at 200 in the world. And then last year, for the first time, was able to make an impression inside the top 100. It takes a lot of persistence, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been a study more in longevity for Frech.
Left for service.
And now, having broken the top 100 for the first time, she's going to be inside the top 50. So it's a big leap.
Well, it's a different thing playing consistently at that level as well. I mean, you look at how long it's taken her. I mean, looking at some of her career highs at different times. 2018, she was 115 in the world.
Yep. And
it took her until the end of 2021 to get inside the top 100. 15 spots doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a hard move.
And then you've got to factor in the financial side, Chandra, as well.
Absolutely.
Not making a lot of money when you're necessarily outside the top 100 for that period of time, are you?
And the top 100 is always significant because that pretty much guarantees you first round, spots in majors, main draw spots. That is a huge boost. Big part of the financial viability for players playing week in and week out, if they can get into every major. That's been tough going for Frech, but if she can just keep a little bit of tension in this set, holding serve, trying to find some openings on the Gauff serve, she can at least maybe give herself a shot here.
Brilliant serving.
Gauff leads by 2 games.
There's up the numbers a little bit in set number 2. She keeps the pressure on. Set 2-1.
Gauff just understanding so beautifully how to play with more pressure, more expectation on her shoulders, and that hasn't always been easy. But it's, I think, a different mindset we're seeing in Coco Gauff as well. Of course, now she's a major champion. That, I think, lifted a lot of, you know, the monkey off of her back, so to speak. All the talk about when she was going to win her first major, the expectation for her to do it as a teenager. And so to finally kind of get that pressure off, I think we are seeing a more relaxed Coco Gauff as well.
Yeah.
Time.
Big evening in store here. They like to put on a show. And in fact, tonight we'll have the cast of Elvis, A Musical Revolution performing before the night session.
And already we see
15 love.
some adjustments that Frech is trying to make here, trying to get inside the court, into the net, and doing it earlier in the rally. Did it in her last service game, starting this one the same way.
Try to catch her out, and again you test her on a long run, and very often you're going to come up short.
Yeah, you drop shot Coco Gauff at your own peril, and you could see Frech, as she realized Gauff was going to get to this drop shot with enough time, started backing up, trying to save her body.
Continues to spread the court so effectively. She stays through the back end. Head so still. So balanced.
She even gets that bit of luck. Gauff does. That cord just dribbling over. And it's more break points on offer.
(30-40).
At times, Frech able to get just a little more depth. Gauff a a little further back in the court. Perhaps why she missed the backhand. Just didn't gauge how much height she needed on that shot.
Oh. Advantage, Frech.
Should be a big game to come through for obvious reasons. Or the pole.
Use.
Coco needs to be a bit careful here. She's lost a bit of the dimension of her game, meaning she's hitting more through the court rather than using the angles like she has in the first set. And Magdalena Frech has really settled in nicely into this match. The rallies are getting longer.
Not up.
It's just so unfortunate. I guess you could argue that the purpose was there, so perhaps she deserves it, but
Advantage.
it's not what this lady needed.
Well, it's the second net court in this game that has given Gauff break point.
Yeah.
Bad luck for Frech there.
Yeah, there's a fairly big disparity in the score, but if you look at the rallies over 9 shots, there's a significant difference at the moment in favor of the American. 13 she's won of the 16 played through a set and a bit.
Oh.
Oh, it was an excellent dig. Exasperation on the face of Magda Frech, who does now fall behind a set and a break. Just wonder whether she actually just ended up watching the pass, because there was a lot of height to it, which she might get there, but not to be. It's amazing when you look back to last summer, and we alluded to the fact that those 4 defeats, the only 4 defeats that Coco has suffered since the start of the American summer last year, were to Pegula in Montreal, Świątek in Beijing, Świątek again in Cancun, and Pegula in Cancun. So top 5 opposition. The only players to have beaten her in what is now a 6-month period.
And players with a particular skill set and that ability to kind of go toe-to-toe with Gauff, either on pace, movement, or both.
Mm-hmm.
First real opening for Frech on the Gauff serve. Love 30. It's not generated a break point yet. Frech just mistiming that ball, not getting it solidly, miss hit, sending it well long, and Gauff with a nice recovery. After losing the first 2 points in this service game, 3 in a row.
Ball.
And that is now 19 successive holds in a row as well for the American, who's got a double break in the back.
And it just started raining, guys, down here, so I don't know whether they will close the roof or just wait it out. But it is raining here, lightly, but still raining.
Do you think that would help Frech a little bit here?
I think she needs it.
She needs something to change. I don't know what, but...
Diplomatic answer, Pekka.
That's why it took me a while to reply. I was thinking about something to say.
Yeah, we got your vibe.
Yeah, right now, Coco Gauff does not want anything changed. You gotta love those shirts. It was Call Me Coco. Well, let's cross out the Coco. Call Me Champion.
Yes.
After that U.S. Open win.
Yeah, she actually revealed, didn't she, in a post-match press conference a couple of days ago, some words that her brother had told her, Cody, just prior to the US Open last year. He talked about actually having a mindset of, you've got to win 3 sets. You've got to win in 3 sets. At times of the majors, think longer. And she actually said it made quite a big impact on her in terms of just sort of that durability. Having that durability, it made her maybe a little bit tougher last year. Did, of course, win a lot of 3-set matches at the US Open.
Including the final.
Yeah.
Came back from a set down. So
Yeah.
absolutely the mindset there would have played a big part.
Of course, she's the oldest of 3 siblings. Dad is here this week. So is Mum, I think, isn't she, Chandra?
She is, yeah.
Love. 30 love.
Every now and then it's forehand for Gauff that's just a little too open. She doesn't get the torque, get enough spin on that shot. There's been so few of those, though.
Oh. Isn't far away.
30-15. Ball.
He's actually got a good friend, Chris Eubanks, sitting right next to Andrea Petkovic down there as well. Of course, Chris and Coco, a very close relationship, both having hailed from Georgia, from Atlanta area. Spent a lot of time together, those two. Chris hanging around here, doing a bit of TV work.
He's rocking some great fashion too, really good shoes.
Cain.
Gauff getting a little wild on the forehand side in that game. Maybe signs of being just a little unsettled now, wanting to get this match done, seeing the finish line a bit. This is for a spot in the quarterfinals of this Australian Open. Winner to play Kostyuk or Timofeeva.
Yeah.
Another net cord that goes to Gauff.
Yeah, it's one thing to be good, it's another thing to be lucky with it. That's just unfair.
15 love.
And those net cords are, all three of them have been pretty much unplayable for Frech.
If she does reach the last 8 here, that'll be 3 of the 4 majors. She's done that in now. Outstanding. Perhaps wasn't the finest volley. The opportunity was there and Frech took it.
Just beautifully feathered on that lob. It was the perfect play. Gauff had closed just enough. Get it over Gauff's head at her height and with the hops that she has. It's no small feat.
Thirty 15. All.
Pass was on, wasn't it?
45.
She had a good look at it.
Yeah.
But Gauff just eats up so much space up there. Rangy at her height, and just feel like you don't have a lot of space to hit into.
Game, go.
Closing in on a spot in the last 8 in Melbourne for the first time in her career. The American a game away. Good news is she's conserved a fair bit of energy, Chandler, this first week and a bit.
Yeah, I was just thinking that Gauff hasn't really been pressed in any of her matches so far, but this one has been a little bit of a different challenge, and she's had to actually, I think, raise her level just a bit, and that's always a good sign that you handle whatever's thrown at you. You can't dictate how tough or how simple your matches are, but you can control how you handle it, how you approach it, and we've seen almost perfection from Gauff in that sense.
Time.
And given the early shift most days as Coco Gauff so far in these championships, been often been first on. Proving that there's absolutely no obstacle for her. She has once again looked to be in dominant mood. On the cusp of ending what's been a very good run for the Pole.
Love 15. And in case anybody wondered whether Coco Gauff is a star, I've been sitting courtside for an entire week, and this is the most photographers that have ever been here.
Four.
Love 13.
Trying to find a shortcut. To be honest, it didn't actually miss by a lot, but it was an ambitious effort. Moving backwards.
And it still looked like Gauff was going to get there
Yep.
with enough time to give a good reply.
Clinical.
Love 14.
It's been near flawless today from the US Open champion. Coco Gauff, for the very first time in her career, is into the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. A brilliant display as she sweeps aside the challenge of Magdalena Frech for the loss of just 3 games.
She was absolutely spellbinding. Coco Gauff, crowd enthralled, and the scoreline doesn't show a lot, but Gauff, the way she came out, focused, explosive, aggressive, she just seems so calm, so clear-headed, and it's been incredible to watch that maturation and to see it in real time. Great week for Magdalena Frech, who has had her best result at a major here, getting to the 4th round. She tried to throw everything she could at Coco Gauff, but it was just another level of opponent.
Yeah, and top 50 opens a few doors, doesn't it, Shanda, for her?
Absolutely, and this is the type of result, the type of match that she can build on for the rest of her season. Just shows her what she needs to shoot for, level-wise, because Gauff was awesome, and the smile in the end just seems so fitting.
Too true. Let's hear from her. She's speaking with Jelena Dokic.
Coco, that was quite a performance. You looked like you were in a rush somewhere. Where were you going? Did you have somewhere else to be?
I want to see the Iron Claw tonight, so I want to go to the movies. No, I'm not in a rush to go anywhere. There's no better court in Australia than Rod Laver, and it was an honor to play in front of you, so thank you for coming to my match.
That was actually my next question. So the man himself is here in his house, Rod Laver Arena. We all saw him when he came in. It's obviously an honor, but is it also a little bit nerve-wracking?
Luckily, when I noticed he came, I was like up a lot, so I wasn't too nervous, but like, you guys were clapping, and I was like, I know it's not for us, like it's like only the first set. And then I saw on the screen, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. So really thanks for coming to my match. And there's not only you, there's a lot of legends in the box over there, so thank you guys for coming.
Now, we noticed in commentary something, that you've got something written on your shoes. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so I have a lot of things written on my shoe. One is, you can change the world. The quote is, you can change the world with your racket. Something my dad told me since I was a little girl, and the inspiration of why I always feel like it's important to speak up and speak out about certain issues. And then another thing written on my shoe is the coordinates to the park I grew up at in Delray Beach, Florida. That's I grew up playing on public tennis courts at Pompey Park, so that's the coordinates on there. And then the last thing, I have my brother's name, my little brother's name on the shoe, Cody and Cameron. I know they're at home. I love you guys. And Cameron just got MVP for his football team, so I'm super proud of you, Cam.
That's very special. Does that give you motivation when you play? Do you look at that in matches?
Yeah, sometimes when I look down, sometimes my mom thinks I'm negative when I'm holding my head down, but no, sometimes I'm just looking at my shoes, and just a reminder that life is much more than tennis, and how I do out here on the court, that doesn't define me as a person. And I think that goes for everyone. Your workplace, whatever you do, doesn't define you as a person. Just surround yourself with good people, and everything that I do on the court is a plus to my life. I have everything that I need, and this is just all extra.
You've got this incredible maturity, humbleness, and gratitude about you. And I know that a lot of that comes from your parents. But talking about your parents, your mum is here. Now, I know your dad, at the US Open, he wasn't in the box, but he was always somewhere around. That was a new thing because he gets too nervous. Is he here?
Yeah, my dad is here. I don't know where, but he's here somewhere. My mom does better at holding her nerves in the box. So my dad, you know, sometimes he says some words that I can't say right here, and then I hear him and I get mad. So we agreed that he can go say them somewhere else around here. So if you guys see him, tell him I said hello, and I'll see him after the match.
But it's also now a superstition because you won the US Open when he was kind of around somewhere. So it's got to now stay like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not superstitious at all. He's incredibly superstitious. So, yeah, that was probably the whatever the tournament was. Wimbledon was probably the last time I'll ever see him in my box. Yeah, I don't think he's ever coming back.
Well, we did see him cry when you won, so I'm sure we'll see that again. Coco, congratulations. We love to watch you play, what you stand for. Well done. We look forward to watching you in the quarterfinal. Ladies and gentlemen, Coco Gauff.
That speaks almost as well as she plays. And it's been the case really ever since she burst onto the scene.
That's so poised, so much, we use that word constantly, maturity, but it's phenomenal to see how she's grown. And she was so mature coming out as, youngster, first tournaments on tour. But she has settled in, has really taken on the mantle of one of the statesmen of this game. And back it up with the kind of tennis that she's been playing, and it is a special, special combination.
Yeah, Delray rocks. Absolutely right.
So grounded.
Yeah.
And gave us an insight on how she continues to remain grounded and think about her roots and think about, the people surrounding her. And it's helped her play even better tennis. See the numbers there, and every single category pretty much for Coco Gauff. First serve points won. She's been leading the tournament in that department and continues to impress. Winners at will throughout that match. Very clean on the unforced errors and able to capitalize on all those breakpoint opportunities as well. So just tremendous effort for Coco Gauff, and what an opportunity for her getting to her first quarterfinal here in Australia. She's got a great shot for the semi as well.
Yeah, she's won with something to spare today, hasn't she? And as Chanda says, this section is open for her. Of course, there is Sabalenka in there, but in the next round it will be a non-seeded player. And one can confirm that it'll either be Timofeva or Kostyuk, and they're playing, I think, in a couple of hours from now, Chanda.
Yeah, this is the section where Maria Sakkari lost in the second round. Also Haddad Maia, who was the 10th seed. So Kostyuk and Timofeva with tournaments of their careers so far, and great opportunity for them in the quarterfinals. One of them will get a chance to play against Coco Gauff.
Yeah, Chanda, it's been a pleasure. Next up, we have got Novak Djokovic. She'll be up against Adrian Mandarin. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up shortly.
Sorry. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to day 8 of our live coverage of the AO 2020 for men's singles action. Of course, it was exactly a week ago today that Novak Djokovic was in action, and for the very first time in the tournament's history, we had a Sunday start. Some things don't change. Novak is still going here at the AO. He is on a very impressive win streak at the moment at this particular event. He's bidding to record his 32nd consecutive match win at the Australian Open. Adrian Mandarin is attempting to do something that he has never done before, and that is make it through to the quarterfinals at a major. And he faces the ultimate challenge in our sport, and the ultimate challenge down under. The avenue of champions. So many great champions have graced this stage that is Rod Laver Arena, but no one has won more than that guy right there. 10 and counting.
Men's singles fourth round action. Would you please welcome to Rod Laver Arena from France, Adrian Mandarin. And their opponent this afternoon, please welcome from Serbia, Novak Djokovic.
Well, we're into the fourth round, and this is when things start to get a little bit more serious. This is where we start to up the ante. Adrian has worked extremely hard to get to this stage in the tournament. And don't let his relaxed playing style, it's almost a laissez-faire kind of attitude, belie the talent that he has and the challenge that he provides to so many players. But it's always been a tough ask against Novak. The head-to-head is one-sided. No surprises in favor of the defending champion. But it's a new day. Let's see what it brings. My name's Rob Koenig. Delighted to have Wally Mercer alongside me in the booth on the court. Good afternoon, Wal.
Good afternoon, Robbie, and I am looking forward to this one. Now, we can see the ball kids and some staff just gently rubbing the lines with towels. We've had the slightest drizzle since Coco left the court, so let's hope that is not a major interruption. The court is fine. Sometimes the lines can just be that little bit slippery, but like you, I'm very much looking forward to this contest. I love watching Mannarino play. He's a little bit of a throwback. Plays very tight to the baseline, minimal swings, very clever the way he manipulates the points. But one thing you need against Novak is you need legs, and I'm just a little concerned Mannarino's workload getting to this point in the tournament has been excessive.
11 hours and 46 minutes he has been on court. All his previous matches have been 5-setters. Novak had a tough opening run. It was 4 sets, but it went over 4 hours. You can see the temperature outside.
This is Hugo.
A little chilly, not too bad. Hugo's the main man. Alison Hughes is our chair umpire.
Adrian, this is Hugo. He's going to do the coin toss. So, gentlemen, same conditions in your previous match. Just to remind you that the towel boxes are in the corner. So, Novak, if I can ask you to use the blue, please, and the red, please. Shot clocks are in the corners as well. Do you have any questions? It's Yvonne. Receive? Okay, and we just have a photo facing that way, please.
So a quick decision.
Adrian, you said receive, yes?
He will.
You said receive, yes?
Receive.
And the towels are on their way. Thank you. Would we wait? You want to run out that way?
Is he just suggesting to Alison that they should wait?
He asked the question.
Maybe start the warm-up and then wait?
Does not take too long for this roof to close. I'm sure Novak would quite enjoy the roof to be closed. The more perfect the conditions, the less chance I feel Mannarino has.
Well, he's 35 years of age, Wally, and he's playing some of the best tennis of his career. Early on in his career, lost so many finals in a row. He's been in 15 finals altogether, and he's won 5. And I can tell you 4 of those wins have come in the last 5 finals that he has contested. And last year, he was in 4 of them and won 3. So at 35 years of age, Adrian Mandarin is playing some of the best tennis of his career. And he's playing some of the longest tennis of his career. He has spent a lot of time out here on these match courts. And the win against Shelton was an epic. That in itself went 4 hours and 46 minutes. And he becomes the first player since Dominic Abadi back in 2006. His first 3 matches all were 5-setters. And that does beg the question, how much fuel is left in the tank? Well, this guy has won everything and then some. Just the Olympic gold that is missing from his immense trophy cap. And given the players are having another pause, probably a good time to throw down to John Fitzgerald, who is courtside for us. Fitzy, what is going on down there?
Well, there's going to be a delay, Robbie. Nice to hear your voice this morning or this afternoon. Now there's going to be a delay now. The roof had remained partially open. They were hoping to start it as an outdoor match. They may well close it, and this could be indoors very quickly. It's actually easing as I speak, but it's stopped the players for now warming up, and now I think the towels are going to have to come out again.
And I'm just having a look at Wayne McKeown, and he just gestured hands above his head as if to say, we're going to shut the roof.
I think so. I think that's what it is. Wayne's just walked straight past me with a very determined look on his face, and I've got a feeling that's what's going to happen. Otherwise, there's going to be a further delay. I can't. Yeah, the roof's closing now, Robbie. It's just starting to close.
Oh, thanks, Fitzy. Always on top of it down there. Yeah.
Where is that switch? Where is that switch to close the roof? Is it just like a little electric switch on the wall?
A little remote.
Big lever.
Of course, they upgraded the motors on this thing, didn't they, a couple of years ago?
Gotten a lot quicker,
yes.
yeah. And they do tend, if rain is imminent, they'll bring it ever so slightly closer so that they can get a quick result. And you can see that will be a matter of moments, and we will be playing under the roof. And it will stay that way for the duration of the match, irrespective of what goes on outside, which I actually don't mind, because it's actually one of those days in Melbourne, cloudy. I think the drizzle and the rain is going to drift in and out over the course of the afternoon, so we'll be uninterrupted. That will not be the case on the outside courts. And Fitzy, this is a big task for Mannarino, obviously. Closing the roof, how does that change the winning percentages for the Frenchman?
Well, I think the percentages might stay the same, actually, Wally. I'm not... I don't have a lot of hope for Adrian this afternoon. As much as I admire him like you do, I love watching him play. But tennis is all about matchups, and Novak is a bad matchup for everybody, it seems. I mean, there's certain players that Adrian, with his style and his deft ability to play this game, he can really give a lot of people a lot of trouble. I don't see that against Novak. I worry a little bit here, because he must be a little bit tired as well. The 3 5-set matches. Novak looks pretty sprightly this morning. He's actually struggled a little bit while in his previous matches to get up for it from the start, I think, in his matches. But today he looks quite happy within himself. The roof is closed now. I just think he's so good everywhere, Novak. I don't think it'll make that much difference. But I'm hoping Adrian can get a good start here.
And Fitzy, that comment that you made, and we've both sat sideline and you've been in the booth for his matches, I kind of agree with you. He was almost a little bit dismissive of the moment. It's almost like he wanted to just let's get these matches out of the way. I've got bigger fish to fry in the second week, and we know he wasn't feeling 100%. We saw the tissues at change of ends, etc., blowing his nose. So it will be interesting to see if there's a bit of a delineation now that we're entering into the second week and it's kind of the business end of the tournament.
Yeah, whether it be the second week that triggers that or not, I'm not sure. But his body language today looks very positive. Novak, he's ready and willing. And I know that, you know, he probably feels like Adrian can't overpower him, as good as his game is, the Frenchman, the matchup against Novak, I can't see too many places where he can really hurt him. He's going to come in a bit, he has to. He's going to try and take the ball early, move Novak around, but he's the best in the world at it. So I just think he might be just a little bit too good in all these facets.
And Robbie, don't you love in Australia, we don't go high tech. We get hundreds of ball kids just drying the court with a towel.
Oh, a little bit of good old fashioned.
Very labour intensive. There they are. They've reached the net. They'll just make their way now, possibly over to the Mannarino side of the court, just getting every last drop of moisture from the surface. No heavy machinery for us here, Robbie. We do things the hard way.
Handcrafted.
Yeah, that's it.
No heavy machinery, but a lot of heavy pushing here, Robbie.
A lot of heavy lifting, that's right. That's the Australian way, Robbie.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'll tell you what I like about Mannarino, certainly where he is in his career right now, gentlemen, is he is a great barometer as to where your game is. If you are a young player that's up and coming and you want to be a top 20 prospect, you test your game up against somebody like Mannarino, and he'll tell you exactly where you are and whether you deserve to be inside the top 20 in the world. He's currently ranked 19, and I thought that's why I was so looking forward to that match against Ben Shelton, because I wanted to see how Shelton's game would stack up against him. And even with all the firepower that Ben possesses, it still wasn't enough to outmaneuver and outcraft Mannarino. He couldn't go through him, and he couldn't go around him.
Robbie, I'm fascinated, and we called the Medvedev match last night 6 to 7 metres behind the baseline to return. And that blows my mind. I just can't get my head around that you could return from that deep in the court. And then Mannarino, they're playing the same game. He will return on or around the baseline. And it just sort of shows me, you know, what is possible. And, you know, that is pretty standard thinking on a hard court, that you try to take the ball on the rise, cut off the angles. But so many players adopt that deep returning stance, and Mannarino is completely the opposite. So he can throw people, you know. He just shows them something that they do not see on a daily basis. Incredibly loose strings, minimal backswing. You've got to think that he's a very hard player to read with those minimal backswings. 92% to 8, that's probably the biggest margin I've seen in terms of a win predictor, and possibly correct.
Yeah, they've played on 4 occasions, and Mannarino's just won one of the 11 sets that they've played. They've played twice at Wimbledon, once on the grass courts in Queens. But they've played for more than 5 years now. You've got to go back to Cincinnati in 2018 at the Masters 1000 there on a hard court, the only hard court meeting. And in fact, Novak lost the opening set on that occasion, but ran away with it 2-1 thereafter. The only set he has lost against the Frenchman.
Robbie, I think best of 5 also works against Mannarino. With his type of game, he can shock some opponents because he's so unorthodox in the modern game. He is a throwback, like Wally said. His style can worry some guys in the draw, a lot of guys in the draw, but against Novak, it's a different story. Plus, he's got to do it for 3 sets. Gee, the noise, the people are up for this. It's loud down here. 5 sets just more difficult. It accentuates the difficulty factor in beating the better players.
It certainly does. Many firsts that Adrian is trying to beat a world #1 for the first time, make it through to the quarterfinals of a major for the very first time. He's been to the round of 16s on 4 separate occasions. Interesting that grass has been his most successful of all the 4 majors, and not surprising with his game style, I guess.
I can totally see that with his serve. He's got the cheekiest left-handed slider, and on grass that would be a nightmare. Low, skidding away. He places it well, and he hits the ball so flat. It's a different trajectory than 99% of the players on the tour. I mean, it's tennis circa 1985, but played with a thoroughly modern racket string setup, and it is so effective. And he made the comment, he played very well at the United Cup to start the season, and he made the comment in one of his post-match interviews that he's really started to understand in his 30s sort of the capabilities and the extremities of his game, and how to use all the shots that he possesses. So it's a long journey for players, and he's, as you say, he's at his best at 35 years of age.
It's great to see. But as you guys mentioned, their styles could not be different. They're probably about as different as landing a plane is and performing a piece of classical music.
Which one's which?
That open.
Novak's landing the plane, and the concert pianist is Mannarino.
So men's 4th round action, a place up for grabs in the quarterfinals. Mannarino, for me, the litmus test if you want to be a top 20 player. Djokovic is simply the ultimate test. He is the defending champion. He is a 10-time champion here at the Australian Open. Looking to win a 32nd consecutive match at this particular event. Was to Hyun Chong.
Ready. Play.
Mannarino decided to receive first. Here we go.
Ball.
Double fault, and Novak's obviously aware of Mannarino crowding the baseline. He was a metre inside the baseline as Novak made contact with that second serve. That's his style. Take time away, take the ball on the rise. So just have a look at Mannarino here. Second serve. Starts just behind the baseline. He'll make a lunge forward as Novak tosses that ball up. He'll be inside the baseline to contact. And there's one big step from Mannarino, and this is the problem when you've played a lot of tennis. You're a little lactic, you're a little heavy. If you've got the miles in your legs, you can probably take a little time to warm up and you can get to your best, but half a step slow on that particular forehand, Mannarino.
Ball. 15-13.
Is that a slow start, or is that the pressure that Mannarino puts on with his aggressive return stance?
Yeah, I don't know if it's nervy. It could be, Robbie, but it's heavier conditions, I think, when the roof closes. And he's hit all of these 3 points that he's lost. The mistake is in the net. So I'm not sure whether it's just heavier because it's indoors now. Sort of lift his sights a bit, which he will.
2 break points, first game.
(30-14).
It's right around Novak's average first serve speed for last year.
There it is, that ability to serve at his best when it matters most. Time and time again. Serves his way out of trouble. Just takes that little extra time, a few extra ball bounces, sets himself.
On a hard court last year, he had the second best serving numbers, only behind Hubie Hurkacz. When you talk about a shot evolving and getting better, it's almost got better and better with each season. This time, he's up to the task.
Slider wide, slider T, and then slider wide on those 3 tricky points. You wonder if Mannarino's got to give him a T and cover that wide serve on the forehand court. Look at his forehand. So it's a simple swing, but it's very flat. It's got good depth. It's hard to believe he can get the kind of power he does with the effort that he puts in.
Yeah, that's what happens when you string a racket at 10 kilos, 22 pounds. It's right around where he is.
Which would be 50% of the rest of the tour, right?
Yep. The boys in Hawkeye just giving us a little nugget of information. Novak's only served 1 double fault before the start of this match. He served 2 in 1 game. But it looks like he still might hold. Loves that slider down the middle on the outside. Fights off 2 break points. Serbians are happy. He is up and running. this men's singles 4th round. What do you make of this serve?
Well, I made the comment the other night that the total seems greater than the sum of the parts. It's almost an abbreviated lazy takeaway. Wrist is delayed, racket head is delayed, but he gets himself in a good position. Prone to throwing the ball a little too far in front on occasion. You could see there he almost collapsed into the serve. We did see a couple of double faults. But unbelievably effective, great spot server, and basically serves his best when it matters most.
Adrian Mandarin.
He's a funny individual, this Mannarino. He's got some
15.
quirky mannerisms. In fact, one of the things he doesn't like is knowing who he's playing next in the draw. He does not look at the draw, and he only wants to find out as late as possible, literally, when his match is called. If he can wait that long, he will.
So analysis is not a big part of his strategy.
Nope.
He backs his game style against all comers. Does seem heavy. That last ball just
15.
It barely travelled through to Novak. Just died. No real life in the court. Nothing bouncing too high. That'll suit Mannarino.
Brilliant, both players using the full dimensions of the court.
It feels like they're playing in a vacuum almost down here. The air, the air is just so still. It's like there's no movement at all here, and the ball, I think, because of that, is a bit heavy. So that might contribute to these long rallies. It's harder to miss in this situation, in this atmosphere.
16 shots each. Maestro. And it all started with a magnificent return of serve, and then look at the depth Novak is able to keep. gets you into submission.
Mannarino stands well wide of that centre tee. And that's what he does. He takes you out of the court. 155. I really like that. So many times you see guys serve wide at 180, 190. It's too fast. Take pace off. Let the side spin do the work. Look where Novak made contact there. He's really struggling to cover the open court. Mannarino wisely goes back in behind him. He's such a clever manipulator of the angles. He's the Frenchman.
Yeah, he's got such good tennis IQ, doesn't he?
Stands well wide again of the centre tee on the forehand corner.
Let's.
Once again, trying to take Novak out of the court. It's a nice visual for your second shot. And how effective is that, given where he was standing?
Advantage, Mannarino.
Team Mannarino, president of the French Tennis Federation, Gilles Moreton, front and centre.
Well, that's a variation on the tweener. Just hit it into the crowd behind you.
I mean, the feel, the wizardry on that backhand side. It's been mesmerizing us for many years now. Both these guys, exquisite feel off that wing.
Not sure what Novak is asking for there. Looking at his team.
I'm just wondering, Wally, whether it's about his positioning when he's returning because of this wide stance. That's all I can think of at the moment. But yeah, but he was certainly inquiring, wasn't he?
Well, with Mannarino standing as wide as he does, that's the obvious serve that you have to cover. But we've seen already that from this position, he can hit all the spots of the court. There it is, tee.
It's like PlayStation tennis. And I think Djokovic is in control of the joystick.
Djokovic leads 2 against love.
And I can't help thinking, Robbie and Wally, that he knows if he gets ahead in this match, it's going to accentuate the problems of Mannarino and the fact that he's played 15 sets already in this year's Australian Open. If he gets ahead, it's going to be harder and harder for the Frenchman to come back. So he's got the early break. He was significant in his, you know, not self-praise, but in his happiness about winning that first break of serve. Put him ahead, put him in the driver's seat. And Mannarino's worked hard and still doesn't have anything on the scoreboard.
Great tennis, though. Like, both men, they have full control of their game.
And they're hitting it so early.
Yeah, but they just, yeah, like you said, Robbie, it's like watching a computer game.
Yeah.
Just opening up the court. Everything comes out of the middle. Robbie, last night we commentated the Felix Auger-Aliassime match, and you said, what can Felix do? And I was a bit like, well, Felix does a couple of things really well, but Medvedev had his measure.
Yes.
I wasn't actually sure what he could do differently, but when you look at players like this, they have scope to change what they've got, such control of all of their shots. They can change things up. They can serve to different spots, play with different spins, different paces, hit all parts of the court off both wings. Very, very complete tennis players, the two of them.
After a slow start, Novak has found his range, he's found the angles, he's found the answers, he's found the space.
There's the early return. He's tried to employ it, but Novak serve has been up to task until that particular moment. But it just shows how effective it can be to take the ball that early, take time away, take the energy from the ball while it's still on the rise. But of course, players these days take such a lavish cut at the ball. It's hard for them to meet it as early as Mannarino with his very abbreviated backswings.
He's a machine, an absolute machine, Djokovic.
And he is dialed in. He's up 3-love. What an entertaining 19 minutes. This will give us a good idea, this Hawkeye analysis piece of where Mannarino hits the ball. He's the yellow balls. Look how early his average rally hit point is at the AO in 2024. And we know Novak hits the ball pretty early, but Mannarino's still about half a meter on average in front of Djokovic. And so good at manipulating the ball, and that gives you a good idea of how early both these players take it. There's not many off the top of my head that hit the ball as early as these two, and when they go toe-to-toe with one another, really is a spectacle, Wally.
Some great rallies already, absolutely. Very, very enjoyable match, and we just hope that Mannarino can get a foothold and make it a contest.
Time.
Novak. Just maybe asking for his ventilation pump, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Fitzy, you said that Novak's a machine. You're courtside there. I've sat there a couple of times when he's played. He's got a well-machined body, hasn't he? He's got the snug clothes. He wears them pretty tight. But the guy looks better than ever, physically. I know Fitzy's very much an admirer of the human form, so he'll appreciate being that close to Novak.
Yeah, in the words of Guido Hatzi's, Melbourne's one-time best comedian, he's a finely toned, tanned and sculpted athlete, mate.
Foul.
Look, it is staggering watching him live. It really is. And, you know, it's like an artiste going against artificial intelligence here. I mean, I like what Mannarino did in the previous game, Wally, when he took that serve early. He substituted power for earliness on the return. He's got to do something different like that, because when he gets in a baseline rally as good as he is, it just doesn't seem like he can beat the AI down the other end.
No, Novak just makes every adjustment, doesn't he? And he's just as good at full stretch as when he's set.
Foul.
And that's where your execution has to be spot on, because you can't let up. Novak will make you play one more ball. It might be an easy ball, but you've still got to make it. And at the end of some of these long rallies, that's easier said than done. So he just switches off ever so slightly there into the open court. He's in trouble again. See the slider there? That's 148. I mean, that's
15-14.
Well, that's a little below what you would say is optimal pace, but so many players could have a look at this. I've seen so many slider serves out wide at like 180, 190, and it actually carries through with forward momentum to the returner. At 148, Novak was 2 meters outside the alley hitting that.
Foul.
Hasn't really put a foot wrong, Mannarino, but the scoreboard eludes him at the moment.
Djokovic leads 4 games to love.
When I watch Novak play, it's this, he's just got an absolute understanding of the correlation between power and accuracy on any given shot. And that's a hard thing for players to master. They've got all this power, but they don't marry it up with accuracy. But he's got the two of them just dialed in. Watched Ben Shelton play the other day, and it's almost like strap yourself into your seat, like it's ferocious. But wow, sometimes you just go, whoa, he's up.
15 love. Love. 14 love.
Tough opening service game for Novak. Served 2 double faults. He'd only served 1 double in the entirety of the tournament coming into this match. But he has almost broken Mannarino down in the opening 4 games here. It's been an absolute masterclass after the opener. And 1 love has quickly become 5 love.
Djokovic leads 5 games to love first set.
Both players working very hard. The scoreboard doing him no favours. Bottom right of your screen is Adrian Mandarino's coach, who has been with him for a couple of years now. Erwin Torto. For all the young talent that France has coming up. It's nice to see Adrian Mandarin still flying the flag for the older generation, 35 years of age now. With the likes of Luca van Asche, Arthur Fies. Let's not forget, Ruby Hurkacz will be taking on young Arthur Cazaux of France as well in the 4th round.
Robbie, he's an exciting young kid, isn't he? Young Arthur. Because I did his match his 2nd round match, and he's really exciting. It's so good to have some fresh faces coming through.
And Fitzy, don't you just love all the French players? No one plays the same, right? They've all got their own particular style.
Yeah, you've got to love that. I think it's fantastic. He's 6 foot tall, Arthur. He's serving at 220. How do you do that? As we see Novak just finishing off this almost perfect set. I mean, the young Frenchman we just mentioned, keep an eye out for him, everybody. He played a lot of handball when he was a youngster. He must have built up his shoulder and his arm awfully well, because he's an extraordinary young player, not overly big, but he has power, finesse. Sounds like a really good kid too.
just got to really knuckle down here.
30.
Does Mannarino. Must get on the scoreboard. Sometimes it's just that last shot when he does have Novak in a little trouble. There was a volley in the previous service game that he missed. He's done awfully well to get this far in the event, but he does want to give a good account of himself here. He's feeling a little fatigued. He's under the pump. See that right there. There's just these little moments, and they happen at the end of long rallies, so you are fatigued, but he had so much time there to play a double-handed backhand. He had a lot of height to work with, so it's just got to knuckle down, have a bit of pride in his performance, and make sure he has some respectability on the scoreboard.
Wally, I feel like it's a cumulative effect from his first 3 rounds too at the end of rallies like that.
Absolutely.
His body is a little jaded.
What I look for, Fitzy, is how somebody decelerates when they're on the run. When they're fresh, they dig in and they power back. That's not quite the case with Adrian. A few little stutter steps after contact. Not looking dynamic.
Djokovic certainly is. The first set is done and dusted in 33 minutes. 6-love to the defending champion.
Robbie, I had a chance to talk to the great Rod Laver one day.
Yes.
And I talked to him about how he prepared for matches.
Yes.
If he won easily or he had a 5-setter, because in those days there was no tie breaks, had some epic matches.
Yeah.
And he won the Grand Slam, all 4 majors in a calendar year.
Okay, oh yeah, great, thank you.
He wanted just a towel, isn't it? It's not a nice towel.
Ice towel, I think it is.
Ice towel.
Yep.
And Rod said, as we have a look at the summary, which is a little lopsided, he said, I standardised my warm-up 1 hour. Irrespective of how much tennis I played, I warmed up for 1 hour, and I always made sure I played some games so that the sweat was running, and when I came out on the court, I was ready to play. And, you know, I would suggest that someone like Adrian doesn't standardise his warm-up. It's a bit of a field thing. It's pretty flat, pretty fatigued. Hit 20 minutes, come out on court. Just don't think he's quite there mentally. Just watching some of the highlights, he is fatigued, but he's feeling fatigued. He hasn't tried to necessarily override that. He almost needs like a certain stubbornness to kick in and say, come on.
One thing's for sure here, guys. Adrian has to play something different than what he did in the first set. He can't beat Novak today. The way he's feeling and the way Novak's playing from the back of the court in his normal, regular way of playing. He has to, I think, take the ball early, try to shorten the points, maybe drop shot, serve and volley occasionally, maybe. But he can't rally here with this genius from the back.
But Fitzy, we go back to, there was a forehand volley, one forehand volley. There was that backhand that Novak hit the drop shot. There was a backhand that he just floated long. I think too, just find a bit of execution. But you are right, it is at the end of some long rallies. But you just got to have that imagination and determination. You know, if he makes a couple more balls, it's not 6-love, it's 4-2.
And of course that affects
Yeah.
your mind big time, doesn't it?
Sometimes you just got to hang around. But I kind of agree with Fitzy though, like on return, might as well take some chances. If you get a second serve, we know we can take it early. He didn't come in, go for something, keep the point short. But you've got to be a little stubborn on your serve to try to hang on.
I know this might sound a bit strange too, but at the end of that first set, the last 2 games, Novak didn't look as comfortable as he did in the first 4 games. He looked like something was bothering him physically. He put that ice towel, I think it was, on. I'm not sure what it was, but he was a little tiny bit stressed. He's back now, though. Still asking for something, though.
We had the feeling he was almost asking for a Ventolin puffer, if that's possible.
He definitely took something. Definitely took something. Previous change of ends. But just to get back to your point you were making, just about your mental state when you're tired. One of my favorite books, and if you enjoy this sort of thing, I can highly encourage you to read it, is Endure by Alex Hutchinson, sports scientist, and he talks about the mind, body, and the curiously elastic limits. And that's the key word, elastic limits of human performance, and that you can push yourself so much further than what you think you can. And the only limiting factor, really, everything boils down to what's between the ears, Wally.
Well, I think if Adrian was playing a lesser player, things would be slightly different. But this is almost like a silent contract. He's tired, he's playing Novak.
And those are the thoughts that are swirling around in your head,
Yes.
aren't they? And they convince you that you are more tired than what you are.
So it's like a dance. It's 2 people that already know the outcome. But if Adrian can just execute a little better, put a little pressure on the score, but as I say, you execute a little better, you're down 4-2, not 6-love. And Novak wants a puffer. Novak wants an ice towel. Things just change.
It's interesting, Novak did a chat with John Worthart, 60 minutes, and he was speaking about when he's in the heat of battle, he is always looking for indicators from his opponent, even on the change of ends. He'll watch him if he's on the big screen, how he's drinking his water, how he's sipping it, how he's breathing. He's always looking for information about the guy he's playing, just stuff that he can tap into to get a read on him.
It does seem heavy, though. The air seems heavy. There's no height in the bounce. It's like trying to hit your way through quicksand at the moment for Mannarino. He might have been better off playing on a 35-degree day where everything was flying and he was getting some value.
Irwin. The subtle brilliance in that rally mustn't go unnoticed. The chip return when the ball was too close to him. We would have seen 2 players yesterday that would have just teed off on that, right? Then the chip forehand to stay in the rally, then the slice before he finds his rhythm and unloads.
Well, Fitzy said it, AI.
Yeah.
I think the slice defensive forehand was the best shot for me in that rally. He beautifully manipulated the strings under that ball. Just subtle.
And when you're defending, it's not just where you hit it, but how hard you hit it to buy a bit of time to come back. And Novak's just got it down pat. Robbie, just on that, I'm a bit of a boxing enthusiast, and Joe Frazier, after he fought Muhammad Ali in the Thriller in Manila, he said, you know, I hit Ali with everything. I know he wouldn't have been able to eat for 3 months afterwards. I broke his ribs. He said, but he looked at me in the ring and he never batted an eyelid. He said, in the ring, he was a man. You know, you talk about where your mind can take you.
Yes.
And that was one of the most brutal fights in the history of boxing.
Too true.
And I'm not suggesting we're in anything as severe out here today, but for Adrian,
well, yeah, it's the principle.
He can lift. He can just lift that ever so slightly, execute just that little bit better, push himself that little bit harder.
course, we say that with the utmost of respect.
7 seconds.
Mannarino hasn't won a game yet, but you don't feel like it's been as one-sided as what the scoreline is suggesting. There's been 20, 25, 30-shot rallies.
Well, I guarantee that Mannarino feels better physically now than he did at the start. Adrenaline's coursing through his veins, the blood's flowing, heart's pumping. He would feel a little better now, so now's the time to dig in.
I think the question is, well, is he mentally as good now, losing the first 8 games? Because
yeah, that doesn't help.
It doesn't help. He's starting to worry that he's not going to get one here, and he's got to do everything right in one game soon, or it might get ugly. I hope not, for his sake, because he's playing some good stuff here, amazingly enough.
And isn't that just the way when everything's going against you?
15 love.
Is that called Murphy's Law?
Yeah, a little bit of bad luck right there.
You know, I think I've rarely seen a one-sided match like this where the crowd understands, I think. Where they understand how well actually Adrian is playing here, and the effort level and the genius of the guy down the other end as well. I mean, there's a lot of respect here, even though the scoreline is as it is.
Yeah, well said, Fitzy.
Foul.
And Fitz, you know what I mean. We've all been in these situations where you're pretty much cooked and you're playing a good player and you're getting belted. And I'm not being disparaging of Adrian in any way, shape or form. It's almost like I just want to see him, or the people here, the 15,000 people here, see what he's got.
Foul.
He doesn't deserve an embarrassing scoreline. And if he can just find a little something to have some respectability on the scoreboard. That's the play, though. I mean, took it early at 30 all. That's the play. And look at Novak. He's kind of got his tail up now. I think he's enjoying this clean slate.
And that was a blood-curdling come on after he served that big second serve at 30 all. He's up a set, a break, 30 all, second serve, and that's what you get from a competitor. That was...
a statement.
It was.
And that's what he's capable of. And it is so heavy with the roof closed and the cool conditions. It's been so hard for him to generate that kind of pace.
this puck. And I can tell you the last time Novak
Djokovic.
won the opening 9 games in a match, any match, got to go back to Wimbledon 2016 against James Ward.
English wildcard.
6-love, 3-love he was up against Wardy.
Deuce.
He was ranked 177 in the world. I'm not sure if he received a wild card that year or not, so I don't see WC alongside his name. It's giving him a steady dart of that serve.
He's actually a little bit dirty with himself, I think, for serving 3 double faults now in this match. And I mean, the look of sort of disgust on his face when he hit a double fault. Shows you what a perfectionist he is.
Do you think Mannarino has drawn a few of those double faults just by crowding? French fans can't cut a break. Like Adrian at court level.
And finally, Mannarino gets the better of Novak in one of these long rallies. He's sending him coast to coast. Novak was hurting after this rally.
And Fitz, you sort of noted this in his previous match in that 3rd set against Echeverry. Novak just seemed uncomfortable with his breathing after some extended rallies.
Well, he's certainly bothered by his breathing now, Wally, and it's hard to read him though. You know, I've seen him do this before, and within a game he's playing at his peak again, so it's just hard to read. But he's certainly breathing hard now and sort of visually showing everyone that he is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Time and time again. He can serve the flat one out wide for sure, but maybe you've got to make him do that on that big point. He loves just coming around the side of the ball, shaving it down the tee on that second court.
It's mesmerizing and magnificent.
Advantage, Djokovic.
And he's got options if he does get tired. You talk about having a lot of strings to your bow. Beautiful combination of volleys. Doesn't commit too early. Give him a love, give him a love. Let me hear it. Just wants to see the back of this game.
And Wally, Adrian's digging deep here too. From his point of view, he deserves a game here, really.
Well, he'd feel a lot better now than he did at the start of the match. So this is the time just for the mind and body to come together. Be determined, get on the scoreboard. Does Mannarino extend the rally? Step in, crunch it, go for the first strike. Novak feeling the pinch, possibly.
I think the latter. Games like this, though, can break a guy's heart. I mean, he has fought doggedly here to get a game. And Novak's just trying to fend him off to make sure of this outcome. Keep him at bay. Make him feel smothered here in terms of lack of games. And it's sort of cruel, but it's what a great competitor does.
Deuce.
.5-minute game already. If Mannarino can come out on top, this could be a little momentum swing.
I'm loving Novak's reaction there. I can't believe, I think, how well Mannarino is returning. He's glued another return to the baseline. Now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. He knows what it's like to play against himself, Wally.
Did that ball just skip off the service line for Mannarino? It just seemed to come on him so quickly when he was in a great position. There's the frustration.
The eye of a tiger. A set in 3 love, you would never know it by that reaction. If we showed you that last game and we showed you that reaction afterwards, there's not many people who would be able to guess the score. Great camera angle. You can see the height over the net, how they hit the ball with different spins, the shapes of the shot, the athleticism.
Does seem so heavy, doesn't it? Look at the height of the bounce. Everything's sort of knee to waist. close the roof, and then eventually that's Novak's good anticipation at the net, and then the air gets pumped in. They turn on the air conditioning, of course, once the roof is closed, but there's not a lot of life at court level. It's dead. I'm not sure that's helping Mannarino.
Of course, a huge fan base. Djokovic has likes to call themselves Nole fam, Nole fam. There they are.
When I look back upon, you know, the likes of Novak and Rafa in big moments, the people that seem to beat them are the brutes. Soderling,
yep.
Stan, Wawrinka,
yes.
Nick.
Yeah.
You got to bash them up. Very hard to beat them with tennis, isn't it? Remember Soderling that year at the French Open? He was just clubbing the ball for all it was worth.
You know, Robbie, that reaction we saw from Novak at the end of that last game, I couldn't help thinking and wanting to ask the question, do you really think he's satisfied with 10 of these? He ain't.
Yeah.
He's not satisfied. He wants this tournament. He wants this match, and he wants another title here.
Ball.
And it's just nasty, isn't it? You've played a long rally, you've done nothing wrong. Novak here, he's at full stretch. That's just in an awkward position. What does he do here? Nothing extravagant. That's just in an awkward position. Just keeps asking the question of you. Just give me a break. Give me an unforced error. Give me a bad choice of shot. Do something.
Well, I think we're out of answers. He asked the question.
And this game is a consequence of the last game. If Djokovic loses that last game, or Mannarino wins it, is it spring any step? It's almost just keeps closing that lid on Mannarino's emotions. He can't get into it. His belief has been sapped.
Please.
Needs a few more of those, Robbie. But have a look when Novak gives him a breather. Love 40. Not at 30 all. Not on break point.
Yep. He's only had 6 unreturned serves in the entirety of the match as Mannarino.
Djokovic needs 4 games to love. Second service.
You just simply cannot fall behind in a service game. Just relentless with his movement, with his shot placement, with his mental strength. And as Fitzy alluded, 24 majors isn't enough. He wants to climb into a galaxy of his own.
I believe Adrian will get a game. He'll get on the scoreboard. Hypothetically, Robbie, if he didn't, it was 6-love, 6-love, 5-love. Would Novak give him a game?
I think he would.
And I say that because I saw Bjorn Borg play Terry Moore at the French Open. 6-love, 6-love, 5-love. He gave Terry a game.
Yeah, but does that make you feel worse?
No, I think it makes you feel so much better about yourself. Fitzy.
I'm not so sure about that.
Fitzy, it's a good question.
He's fallen off the level now, though, Adrian. It's broken his heart here, I think, late in the second set. 2 games ago.
2-love game, you reckon?
Yeah, threw everything at him. Couldn't get over the line. I'm starting to feel for him a bit here.
Just like that.
Yeah, didn't look good there either, did it?
It's 5-love for Djokovic. He has not lost a game thus far. Fitzy, were you suggesting that should he give him a game, it's a little bit of a participation prize, and those are never good, are they? You want to earn your prize.
Yeah, you do, and I think for your own self-esteem, you don't want someone to give you one. And look, he may well get one. I hope he does. He deserves one. He's been close here a few times. He had Novak stressed and stretched several times early in this set, but the champ was just too good at the business end of each point, each game. Look, I hope he gets one, but I think if I was him, I'm not sure I want him to give me one. I mean, that's just an insult to your ego.
Time.
That's where we differ, Fitzy. I take the charity.
Robbie, I think what we're hearing from Wiley about this subject is that he's happy to take a freebie in life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Robbie,
A handout.
And I can't speak for Robbie, but I'm very confident you're in my side of this camp, Robbie. You and I, we don't want a freebie.
Don't put words in Robbie's mouth.
Tell you what, man.
Come on, Robbie, here's your chance. Masseur or Fitzgerald here? Whose side do you want?
Man, I'm taking the 5th. I'm taking the 5th.
I have all the confidence in the world in your character, Robbie. I do.
All right, so Mannarino, let's get the first point right here. Let's build a game. Get on the scoreboard. There you go. Quick hands. He re-gripped his racket at end change.
15-love.
Is that a sign things are about to change?
Oh.
Oh. 15.
I don't know if it's the conditions in order to help the ball get through the air quicker, but I can tell you that both players are hitting the ball significantly lower over the net than what they did in the opening 3 matches.
But Robbie, it's a match-up issue too, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
And it's accentuated by the fact that he's had 15 sets before the start of this one.
Absolutely.
He's a tiny bit off the 100% mark, Adrian, because of his body and how he had to recover. But it's also the match-up here. Just doesn't suit.
So, Fitzy, we've seen Edberg 1 year at the US Open won a string of 5-set matches to win the title. Alcaraz 2022, string of brutal matches to win the title. Now, Adrian's played 3 in a row. Is Adrian the guy that in his off-season was doing the 400 intervals, the hill sprints, the... Is he that guy? And sometimes you have to be. Otherwise, this can happen.
Well, those guys from a different planet. Djokovic wins the second by the same scoreline as the first, 6-love. I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate here with you. Someone at the age that Mannarino's at now, 35, heading into his 36th year. What about just keeping yourself fresh, not overtraining? You want to be fresh for these kind of events, and you train too hard at this age, you run the risk of picking up an injury and you're just a little off your game. You've got no chance of winning these matches. So it's a fine balancing act, you know. Andy Murray, I remember having this discussion with Andy where he suggested, Adrian's laughing at how good this guy is on the other side of the net, that's, you know, perhaps he shouldn't have done so many 400s early on in his career, and that he would balance things out a little differently. But Fitzy, what's Mannarino doing there? Having a good chuckle towards his cap?
Well, I'm continuing to feel for him. He put zeros up over his eyes then to his camp and started laughing. In other words, I'm going to get double bageled here. And he's probably already thinking about the third set. But look, he's not a bull like Alcaraz or like Edberg was. And it's horses for courses sometimes, I think. So I'm not sure he's the guy to do the 400s and to do the solid training. He is nearly 36 years of age. He does have to, I think, protect his body too. But look, this is just Murphy's Law here. It's the wrong situation for him to find himself in. As gallant as he's been early in the tournament, this is the wrong guy to play now.
I'll take the Murray overtrainer every time. 3 slams, Olympic golds.
Oh no, but obviously there's a talent gap.
That's how he got it. That's how he got it.
No, but there's a talent gap there as well, Wally, between the likes of Andy Murray and Adrian Mandarin.
But to find yourself in this position after 3 5-setters, because he's been outplayed, no question about it, but physically he's really feeling the pinch.
A 3 5-setters is a hell of an effort. There's not many players in the history of the sport that have been able to win 3 5-setters.
And I think more than the physical, it's just who he's playing. His game doesn't match up against Djokovic.
It's a double whammy.
Too good.
Yeah, it's a double whammy, isn't it, Fitzy? Who he's playing.
I'm not talking about winning, I'm talking about getting a game. A game.
Yeah.
Robbie Wally's just trying to be a tough guy.
I mean, of Manly.
Yeah, the matchup, it's just the perfect wrong scenario for him.
Seen that yet. That was a nice little response. Novak just kind of settled in. I can just bump the ball back. I know he's not coming forward, but that was a change up. We haven't seen too much of that from Mannarino. Novak applauding, great touch. And he has got outrageous touch, Mannarino. I love that. He goes wide, he goes wide, he goes wide. If you're looking for the wide serve, he just lets you know he's got the tee covered. There it is, perfect. First 2 sets for Novak. Well, that was nice. He scampered in.
He can't continue to stay back if he gets Novak stretching. Surely he's got, because he's not winning those points. If he's not putting enough balls away at the back of the court because Novak's defence is too good. So that's the play, surely.
I thought he could have come in on that particular one. He came in on the next, and there it was.
So did I. I thought he could have come in earlier.
So, two little variations. We've seen the drop shot, and now the survey and sneak, Robbie. So he's still thinking his way through the situation.
Time violation warning, Mr. Djokovic.
Yeah, Alice has got to be fair to both players. But
yeah, well, what's she to do if the clock runs out?
Yep.
Got to call it. But I actually think we should do away with the shot clock, Robbie. Let's do away with it in this game. I think it causes more issues, and it actually has lengthened matches, probably.
yeah, because players are watching the clock and taking as much time as possible now.
Exactly. Let's get rid of it.
Please.
Novak knows he got a little fortunate there.
First game, third set.
And I can tell you, this is the first time that Novak has won the opening 2 sets at this major. 6-love, 6-love. Roland Garros 2005 against Robbie Ginapri. He also started by winning the opening 2 sets. 6-love, 6-love. So it's not a first time ever. Sent his fans delirious.
He's got just that little group just behind where he's sitting of Serbian fans. He gave them a big smile. He doesn't mind taking sections of the crowd on at certain times. We saw that in his second round match against Alexei Popyrin. It actually motivated him. He's like a lightning rod, Novak. He just draws in energy. Negative, positive, doesn't matter. It's energy. He absorbs it, throws it back at his opponent.
Any seat for now, thank you. At the back of the court, thank you.
Oh, these VIPs coming in late after their lobster thermidor, Robbie. Just grab a seat. There you go.
24 and counting. Get out of here.
Love 15.
What did Fitzy call it? Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong, will. That almost looked like it was going wide. Obviously the net very taut. Near the net post there, jumped up high, bounced back into court. I'd love to know the distance between the two contact points of the return. There, where is he? He is 2 meters outside the alley. And the contact point on the second bounce would have been level with the alley on the other side. That is a
12, 13 meters at least.
It's a good spread.
Oh, yeah.
Ball.
It's something that he's learned to calibrate so well over the last couple of years. I mentioned the fact that he lost his first, I think it was 8 finals to Mannarino, but now he's won 4 of the last 5. He just understands when to go to the open court after that serve, when to go back behind. It's taken him a while. It's taken him a while to understand his game, how to execute it best.
This is his chance, Robbie.
And Novak just ups the ante ever so slightly.
Well, it may be a minute chance, but at 30-15, it may be one of the last ones he gets. So 30-all now. He needs to try and string 2 amazing points together here in a row. I got my fingers crossed for him.
He hasn't serve volleyed. Does he do something completely?
Well, I think he's got to shorten the point at least. Well, I'm not sure about his serve and volley. How maybe the body and serve and volley, but go in, finish the point. Oh, he's got a game point.
That'll do. Oh, the crowd are going to erupt if he could get one more.
Come on, Adrian.
14.
Fire him up, Fitzy. All right, where does he go? He's got to get 1 point.
Wide. As wide as he can.
Done it!
Game all good service.
I'm telling you, that has made my day.
Well, it's given them something to cheer about. But boy, has he had to work hard. Just asking Alison about when she started the clock, but then suddenly there were all these fans that were coming in. He was hoping for them to settle before the clock was started. That's what I'm guessing that conversation was about. Fortunately, Mannarino won't fall into that category of players that have been triple bageled at a major. I can tell you, players who have done it, Stefan Edberg against Stefan Eriksson at Wimbledon. And the same at the US Open, it was Yvonne Lendl against our good friend Barry Moyer. I remember that well. And Sergi Bruguera did it at the French against Thierry Champion. A Frenchman.
40 love.
Well, isn't it amazing that even a guy ranked 20 in the world, you can feel impotent in a stage like this, as wonderful a player as you are, by someone like this. It's a cruel game sometimes. I tell you, there is a lot of love for Adrian Mandarin here. It's really nice to see. There is for Novak too. Don't worry about that. But it's great to see the Frenchman here get some encouragement and support, and he deserves it.
And you're absolutely right, Fitzy. The match is not flat, is it? Even though the scoreline might suggest that would be the case.
It's been a great vibe around the place because of the quality of the rallies.
Djokovic leads 2 games to 1.
Novak leads 2-1 in the third. You can see how meticulous Mannarino is with his grip. He's got the thinnest of pieces of tape there just to help the grip feel optimum in that left hand of his.
Well, you want all the ridges to be symmetrical. He obviously very much likes to know where the bevel of his racket face is, and if the grip has a lot of bevels, as that one does, he's actually got a little bit of tape to square it up ever so slightly under that overwrap. It's very important to him that that grip is perfect. It feels perfect in the hand. He knows where the racket face is.
Time.
Well, in case you're wondering, should Mannarino go down today, how much money would he take home? Well, his efforts this week by winning 3 5-setters in a row would garner him 375,000 Aussie dollars. That's for a loser in the round of 16.
Love 15.
Interesting there, Novak. He's bunted a lot of balls back when he's been at full stretch. Mannarino's only come in once on the sneak. And we talk about the conditions. That ball just sat there. Mannarino probably prefers the ball coming on to generate pace from pace, redirect pace. Generating his own, not always as comfortable. And Novak certainly hasn't overplayed. He hasn't fed him with pace.
15.
He's fed him with accuracy.
Oh, it's been
depth.
Mesmeric. So often is. Just working out the geometry. Suggesting he should have changed things up.
Had his vectors wrong there, you reckon?
I think that could be the first serve volley point for Adrian Mandarin. Yes, it is.
Susceptible to anything down the line. You can see there's a big gap there because he's so wide of that centre tee, but it's hard to hit across the line of flight, and Novak is very keen to send the ball back where it came from on return more often than not. Made for an easy volley. Nice little change up. You probably don't want to.
30-14.
But I'm just wondering, after that last little dig from Novak and where it landed, he almost had to come in, Mannarino. He didn't want to, and he sort of lifted and retreated. There he is there, and then he retreats. The ball was so short, he probably had to come in. It's not where he likes to spend his time.
New balls, please, Bolshin. Djokovic leads 3-1 on third set. New balls,
Tennis genius. So many options available to him. He goes into his lockdown mode, refusing to miss. He is more than qualified from the neck upwards. That we know all too well.
Ball. Ball. Love 15.
Every now and then, Novak is just guilty. He throws the ball a little far out in front, collapses, loses his margin.
Yeah, for the most part, in the last 2.5 sets, the serve has been deadly accurate.
It's funny, isn't it? Remember, he had that elbow problem, and Todd Martin was helping him for a while there. He was changing his serve. He was trying to work on things, and serve looked like a liability. But ever since that moment, it's one of the game's great underrated shots.
I don't think it's underrated anymore. Wally, Fitzy, you tell me a player that you can think of that has changed a shot so much, that was at the top of the game and has made it so good, because players don't tend to change their technique too much. It's been a complete overhaul if you think where it was back in 2010 to what it is now. I mean, the improvement, and it's got better and better each and every season. That's the scary part.
Right on cue. But that's his whole mindset, isn't it? Marian Vida, who used to coach him, I grew up playing juniors with Marian. Marian told me a story. He had an incredible year, 72-3, something outrageous, going back. And they met for the pre-season. They were all high-fiving each other, and Novak pretty much walked into the room and said, "What have you done over the last 4 weeks to make me a better player?" It's just his mindset, onwards and upwards, never satisfied.
Djokovic leads 4-1 third set.
It's pretty easy on the eye. 4-1 in the third.
The spectator or the serve?
Both.
Both.
Very good. I mean, is it good to be part of this experience if you're Adrian Mandarin in his lifetime, to play against Novak in his pomp, playing at a tournament where he's done things that no one's ever done? It's something you can, you know, talk to your kids about in your rocking chair one day.
Fourth round is a great achievement. There's the great Rod Laver, of course. So fourth round, I think you said it, 370,000 Australian dollars. So absolutely, it's where he wants to be. if you were 25, you might walk away with a few thoughts about what next. At 35, he can be pretty satisfied with what he's achieved, Adrian Mandarin, and maybe today's one of those days he just has to take his licks.
Djokovic bidding to reach the quarterfinals at a major for the 58th time in his career. 58. And of course, if he does go on to win, he'd equal Roger Federer's all-time record for most quarterfinal appearances at the majors. Next closest is Nadal with 47.
Love. Let's second.
You know, Robbie, to try and answer that question about is it a good experience or not, I remember Jason Stoltenberg, the Wimbledon semi-finals, playing a Davis Cup match in South America, and he had match point and lost, and he walked off and he said that's the best experience and the worst experience in my tennis career all wrapped up into one. And I can see this as being a bit the same.
14-15.
It's an interesting viewpoint, and it's an intelligent one as well, because I absolutely see both sides of it. Because I think we can all agree Adrian has not played badly.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 2 in 5th sets.
He's too good a player to play badly. He's just been beaten up today. But
yes.
Adrian Mannarino played Rafa on this court going back a number of years. Epic first set, hour and a half, 7-6. Rafa won it, and it was 2-1 for Rafa. I saw Adrian play Demon on John Cain Arena a couple of years ago. Demon just wore him down in 4. Just said all, just ran over the top of him. And that's why I said if Adrian was 25 experiencing those runaway losses, you'd have a little think about what you're doing off court and how you can maintain. But at 35, as you say, well, there's only so much you can do off court at 35. But there is no question he hasn't quite had the legs today, given the 3-5 setters that he played to get here.
If it was first round, do you think he would have the legs then?
I don't think the scoreline would be as lopsided, put it that way. I think there was some tired execution in those first couple of sets.
Just one more on his physicality. Just to keep this in mind with Mannarino. He's won 11 of the last 12 5-setters he's played. The only guy to beat him was Federer at Wimbledon. He's beaten the likes of Medvedev, Wawrinka, of course the opening round here. Max Purcell will remember his loss 2022 at Wimbledon to Mannarino. 6-4 in the 5th. It's bringing the heat today.
Djokovic leads 5 games to 2 seconds.
Djokovic just a game away now from a place in the quarterfinals.
I've seen Novak in a lot of majors, Robbie. You've seen him in more. I've seen him in better moods. He's winning. He's dropping sets, but he's winning. Let's have a look at that first serve placement. Gee, he hits the close to the lines.
Yeah, that blue zone is 2 feet from the line. Those are Federer-esque numbers and then some. 89% on the juice side is geometric perfection.
Have you caught the tram to the courts, Robbie?
And not this year, but I have in previous years.
If you have, you would have heard John Fitzgerald's voice welcoming you to the Australian Open whilst riding the tram.
Time.
Wow, very soothing. Very welcoming.
Day 8 of the AO 2024. Record crowds yesterday, just north of 93,000 people through the turnstiles. More of the same today. The exact number, 93,723. We might get close to the million mark.
You don't deal in round numbers, do you? Like the decimals.
Got to.
So that's quite an event, isn't it? Nudging 1 million spectators over the course of 15 days.
And these tennis majors are some of the biggest annual sporting events. Golf numbers don't pull in the same sort of crowds as these. Of course, they only have 4 days. Formula One these days gets a fair few fans over the 3 days that they have their event. Smooth as you like.
Djokovic leads 5 games to 3 seconds.
We haven't gotten to see the bag of tricks today from Adrian Mandarin, but he's a shot maker of rare quality. He'd had enough of that game. What's he got left in store here? Djokovic about to serve for a straight sets victory. Kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Novak clips the tape, it jumps over.
30.
Adrian hits the tape. Very clean strike. Stays on his side. Novak has executed to perfection. Adrian maybe just half a step off the pace of his best game. Paid a heavy price for it.
He is a skilled merchant, and we've seen his full array of shots today. In attack, in defense, he has been ruthlessly efficient. He's at match point. It's a 58th quarterfinal and a major for Novak Djokovic, and he equals Roger Federer's all-time record for most quarterfinal appearances at the Grand Slam. It's a glorious choreography about how this guy plays tennis. A clean kill against Adrian Mandarin. 6-love, 6-love, 6-3.
Robbie, did you see the gladiator? Maximus, are you not entertained? It's almost like, this is what I do. Racquet Rascals, and here, Adrian Mandarin did not see the best of him today. A little jaded, and he was up against Novak, who was in sparkling form. We'll see a little more of Adrian. Keep an eye out for him on the grass. A very, very tricky customer. He can hold his head up high, just physically fatigued, and Novak is not the man that you want to play when you're half a step slow.
Yeah, coming off a career best season last year. He's playing at his career high ranking is Adrian Mannarino of 19, but it just shows you how good this guy is. And we've got to take it all in, because who knows how much longer he is going to be around for. He is carved from a different cloth. Novak's ready to have a chat with Jim Courier.
Novak, very well done. You said after your last match that that was your best performance so far in the tournament. Was this one even better?
Well, I have to say yes. Obviously, the first two sets. Yeah, one of the best sets I played in a while. And, you know, I really wanted to lose that game in the third set because the tension was building up so much in the stadium. I just needed to get that one out of the way so I can refocus on what I need to do to close out the match. So, you know, I played great, you know, from the first to the last point. Obviously never easy to play. Adrian, who is a very unorthodox player, you know, uses the angles really well, and he's got one of the flattest and most consistent backhands in the game. It's kind of cat and mouse, really, tennis match against him. So I had to, in a way, physically endure the long rallies and try to run him around the court, which I did, and I think I served very well. You know, in the moments when I needed to come up with the first serve, I did. So all in all, great performance.
You've been asked about how you've been feeling on the court, in the press room. You've admitted you're not feeling your best. You're dealing with something illness-wise. How important was it for you to be efficient and win this match this quickly today?
I mean, you always want to be efficient, right? You always want to finish the job as soon as possible in straight sets, but not always possible, because obviously you're playing, as the tournament progresses, tougher opponents that you know, possess a really high quality tennis, and you know, obviously best of 5, you never know what's going to happen. But I wasn't thinking about it. You know, I was kind of going with the flow, and the last couple of days has been really good. So it's going in a positive direction, health-wise, tennis-wise. So I'm really pleased with where I am at the moment.
As you should be. Rolling into the quarterfinals again. Something a little offbeat. You know, you were playing in your charity match here last week, and someone asked you about your all-blue ensemble, very snappy. I've even noticed you've got the blue watch that matches the whole thing, but your coach thought it was too blue. Have you guys had a discussion? You also have the white shirt. How involved are you in this fashion statement you're making?
Well, I think the only piece of clothing that my coach minded and also Sabalenka minded were my socks. So they both told me that I have to change from blue to white socks. So that's why I've been playing with white socks. And that's what you know, I got blue socks in the bag just in case for kind of a fashion statement. But it's more about tennis right now, and then after the tournament I'll focus on fashion.
You're making a big statement with your racket, that's for sure. And your next match is going to be a tricky one. It could be the American Taylor Fritz. It could be the finalist that you defeated last year, Stefanos Tsitsipas. They're playing right now. Fritz won the first set. I don't know if we've got an updated score line, but your thoughts on the challenge ahead for you as you move into the quarterfinals and beyond here?
Well, we know Stefanos and I played the finals here last year. He had a great tournament. You know, he's been established, you know, top 5, top 10 player for many years now. Very experienced on playing on a big stage. You know, he's got a complete game, obviously. Very focused, great player, you know, no doubt. On the other hand, you have Fritz. Let's see, you know, they're battling it out right now. Hopefully they go to 5 sets over 6 hours, and with some rain interruptions and light dysfunction and roof whatever, so they can continue tomorrow. But no, I mean, obviously it's going to be a tough one. I mean, there are no easy matches now, so I'm going to have to be ready for the battle, whoever it is across the net.
And last question for you. You've played so many night matches here in recent times. This is the first time in a couple tournaments for you that you've played the day match. Any adjustments? Did it feel normal? There's a lot of people in the social media that think, oh, Novak doesn't want to play in the day. Did you mind playing the day today?
The way I played today, I don't mind playing in the day, you know, to be honest. But thank you guys for showing up also, you know. I know it's maybe early in the day, but it's Sunday, non-working day, so I want to thank everyone for showing up. It's great to see a packed Rod Laver Arena. It's beautiful to see that. It's no secret I love to play at 7 p.m., but, you know, it wasn't bad at all today. Not too bad today as well.
Not too bad. Well, you can watch Andrey Rublev and Alex De Minaur at 7 p.m. tonight. But that was Novak's time to win of the day.
As he once said, not too bad, not too bad. I'll be delighted with his performance today. Stepped it up another gear. He's got one of those cars, best have 6, but he's shown us on a number of occasions he's got 7. These numbers, what stands out for you, Wally?
Probably the winners and unforced errors. It's almost a reverse image, isn't it? Novak in complete control. Look at that 70% first serves in. He wins 81% of those points. So he's just so hard to break down his service games. We know that. And he returns better than anybody in the game. And 11 break points over the course of 3 sets. And he breaks 7 of those times. So completely in control. We know we probably didn't see the best of Adrian courtesy of his tough schedule. But that's the nature of Grand Slam tennis. And there he is. He's jumped out into the quarterfinals. No surprise. And I kind of get the feeling, Robbie, he's building nicely.
He certainly is. The 58th time in his career he's been to the quarterfinals at a major. And as I mentioned, it is tied with Roger Federer on that all-time record for most quarterfinals at the Grand Slams. Novak Djokovic, he is 1 of 1. Once again, plenty to celebrate for his fans. It was tennis in the Alex Honnold mode. Calculated and fearless. It was so easy on the eye. and we were privileged enough to get to watch this in living color.
Are you saying he's El Capitan?
From Wally Masur and myself, Rob Koenig, John Fitzgerald courtside. I can't top that. Look forward to your company a little later this evening from the three of us. And as Novak signs off a winner, we say goodbye for now.
Come on, just one tennis ball.